You ever feel like your life is finally about to start, only to watch someone rip it out of your hands like it never mattered? That was me. After 7 long years of grinding, working nights in greasy diners, running catering gigs on weekends, saving every spare penny, I finally had something to show for it. $75,000. Enough for tuition, equipment, rent, maybe even a tiny staff, everything I needed to finally launch my dream. A small restaurant with my name on the window. A place where I could cook my food, build something from nothing, and prove that I was more than just the quiet one in the family. I had been accepted to a top culinary program. The letter was still pinned to my wall. I had plans. I had spreadsheets. I had hope. And for once, I thought maybe, just maybe, my parents would be proud of me. But that was stupid. That evening, my father called a family meeting. I should have known something was off. Nobody calls family meetings unless it's bad. We all sat down, me, Mom, Dad, my younger sister Emily, and Aunt Clara, who was conveniently just stopping by, but clearly knew what this was about. Dad stood in front of the TV like a politician preparing a speech. He cleared his throat and said, almost gently, "We've come to a decision as a family, and we need you to do the right thing." I frowned. About what? Mom chimed in, arms folded like she was already bracing for pushback. "We want Emily to use your savings," she said. "For medical school." At first, I thought I misheard. I blinked. What? Your college fund, Dad said. It's not like you need all of it right now. You don't even have a set timeline for this restaurant thing. Emily has a real opportunity. She's been accepted already. I laughed, because it sounded so insane. But no one else was laughing. Emily sat there silently, avoiding my gaze, like a child pretending not to hear when they're guilty. Aunt Clara gave me this smile, tight-lipped and fake, like she expected me to just say, "Of course," and hand it over. My chest felt like it was closing. "You want me to give up my entire future so she can have hers?" I asked, voice shaking. "She's going to be a doctor," Mom said, like it was some divine calling. "She'll help people. You'll still have time to play around with cooking later." Play around. Like all my years of work, of sacrifice, were just some hobby. I looked at Emily again. Nothing. Not even a whisper of protest. Not a single, "maybe this isn't right." Just silent approval. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a discussion. It was a verdict. And I was just supposed to accept it. I sat there, staring at them. Not just stunned, betrayed. All my life, I thought maybe I was the quiet one, the steady one, the one who didn't cause trouble, so they never had to worry about me. I thought maybe, deep down, they appreciated that. But now I saw the truth. I wasn't the dependable son. I was the disposable one. "I'm not giving her my savings," I said, my voice low, steady. My father's eyes narrowed like I just insulted him. "Don't be selfish." Selfish? I clenched my fists under the table. That money is mine. I worked for years to save it. I sacrificed everything for it. You all knew that. My mom's tone turned cold, like a switch had flipped. "She's your sister. And I'm your son," I shot back. Still no reaction from Emily. Just a practiced blank face, as if she had already accepted this money was hers, and anything I said was just noise delaying the inevitable. "You always knew she had more potential," my mom continued, "and you've never minded stepping aside before." That sentence. That shattered something in me. More potential. They said it, not even trying to hide it anymore. "You were never going to let me win, were you?" I whispered. "No matter what I did." "Don't make this dramatic," Dad said, now visibly angry. "We gave you a roof. You can be grateful or you can leave." I stood up. There was no yelling, no thrown objects, no slammed doors. Just this numbness. Like I'd been stabbed, and I didn't even feel it yet. "I'll save you the trouble," I said. "I'll pack my things." My mom gasped, as if I was the one destroying the family. Emily finally spoke. Quietly. Pathetically. "You don't have to go. We can share the savings." I turned to her, and I don't think I've ever looked at anyone with so much disgust in my life. "No, Emily. You don't get to share what you tried to steal. Enjoy med school. I hope it's worth it." I walked out of that house with nothing but a backpack, my phone, and a flash drive with all my restaurant plans. They didn't stop me. They didn't chase me. They just let the door close behind me like it was never my home to begin with. And for the first time in my life, I realized something terrifying and freeing all at once. I was truly on my own. The first few days after leaving were brutal. I crashed on a friend's couch, Danny, a bartender I used to help out at weekends. His apartment was tiny, cluttered, smelled like old takeout and cheap cologne, but it was safe. And it wasn't their house. I barely slept the first night. My brain kept replaying the conversation over and over like a sick loop. My mom calling me selfish. My dad throwing me out. My sister sitting in silence while they buried my future to build hers. There were moments I wanted to call them, scream, cry, beg for some explanation, for some kind of apology. But I didn't, because somewhere between the silence and the heartbreak, I started to feel something I hadn't felt in years. Control. I opened my laptop and pulled up the business plan I had been working on for the past 2 years. Menus, budgets, suppliers, branding, timelines, licensing. Everything was still there. Still mine. I hadn't lost my dream. I just lost the people who were holding it hostage. The next week was a blur of action. I picked up every shift I could, waiting tables, delivering food, even scrubbing floors at a bakery just to stay afloat. I spent my nights building a new budget. If I cut every non-essential item, I could still afford culinary school and get my foot in the door, maybe even intern under a chef I respected. I didn't need $75,000. I just needed my fire back. And every time I started to feel sorry for myself, every time the doubt crept in, I remembered their faces. That cold living room. That smug silence. That's what fueled me. They didn't believe in me? Fine. I believe enough for all of us. Within 3 months, I had found a part-time room in a shared flat above a bakery. It wasn't glamorous. There was mold in the bathroom, and the ceiling creaked with every step, but it was mine. I had enrolled in night classes, landed a part-time kitchen assistant job, and started learning from a head chef who didn't care about my last name, only that I worked like hell and didn't complain. That first night alone in that cramped little room, I made myself a grilled cheese sandwich on a second-hand hot plate. I sat on the floor. No table, no furniture. And still, it was the best meal I'd had in years. Because I had earned every bite. It was almost a year later when I saw her again. I had just finished prepping vegetables for the dinner rush when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. Then came a knock at the back door of the restaurant. And there she was. Emily. Hair tied back. Eyes puffy, makeup smudged like she'd been crying for hours. Holding a cheap umbrella in one hand and a manila folder in the other. I didn't say anything. I just stared. She spoke first. Can we talk? We sat on a milk crate and an overturned box of produce behind the kitchen. Rain tapping on the concrete, steam rising from the vents nearby. She looked small, nothing like the golden child they always made her out to be. She started slow. How med school had fallen through. How the pressure was too much. How she had tried to make mom and dad proud, but it was never enough. Then came the tears. I made a mistake. I should have said something. I should have defended you. I was scared. I wanted to feel something, anger, pity, satisfaction. But mostly I felt tired. Why are you here, Emily? I finally asked. That's when she handed me the folder. Inside was a resume. Blank, thin, desperate. I heard you're opening your own place soon. I want to help. I need work. It took everything in me not to laugh. The same sister who silently watched as our parents gutted my dream now wanted a place in it? I closed the folder and looked her dead in the eyes. You didn't believe in me then, I said. Why should I believe in you now? She broke down, sobbing, whispering, please. I don't have anywhere else to go. And here's the thing, I didn't slam the door in her face. I didn't scream. I gave her something better. A chance. But on my terms. You can start tomorrow, I said. Dishwashing. Minimum wage. Trial week. Her face twisted in disbelief. That's it. No family favors. No shortcuts. You earn your place here, the way I had to. She nodded, defeated. And for the first time in my life, I saw her as just a person, not a sister. Not a rival. Not the reason I had to rebuild everything. Just someone learning, the hard way, what it costs to betray someone who used to trust you. Opening day. I stood in the middle of my restaurant, my name above the door, my recipes on the menu, and a line of customers already stretching down the block. The air smelled like garlic, fresh herbs, and victory. The walls were still a little bare. The light fixtures not quite even. But the place had heart. It had soul. And it was mine. No one could take this from me. Not anymore. Emily was in the back, chopping onions. Quiet. Focused. She never complained, never asked for special treatment. She showed up on time, stayed late, and earned her spot. She was finally learning what hard work tasted like, not the kind you inherit, but the kind you build from the ground up. Part of me thought maybe we'd start over. But the truth is, something was broken between us. You can glue pieces back together, but the cracks don't disappear. You just learn to live with them. A few weeks later, I got a call from my parents. Mom's voice was trembling. Your father had a health scare. Nothing serious, but we thought maybe it's time we sat down. As a family, a year ago, I would have dropped everything. But now, I finally understood something. They didn't just take my money. They took my belief that I ever truly belonged. I'm glad he's okay, I said. Then I paused. And I hope one day you realize what you lost. Click. I don't know if they'll ever really understand. Maybe they'll keep telling themselves it was just money. That I was dramatic. That I overreacted. But I know the truth. They chose someone else's future over mine. And the day they made that choice, they lost me. For good.